It's not bad, it's steady, and mid caps are doing well. 0.5% up the mid cap index. The breadth is quite positive. 774 advances to 275 declines, so no problems there. Railway stocks are still flying. Kalindee Rail is up 9%. Titagarh Wagons is up 5%, so there is a lot of action there. And those small metal stocks, Gallant Metal, Sal Steel, Lloyds Steel even, they seem to be doing pretty okay this morning. To talk about some of those, SP Tulsian joins me now. Mr. Tulsian, morning. Before we talk about stocks, is 9 o'clock from Monday a done deal, or do you expect any surprises from the ANMI press conference later in the afternoon today?
Udayan, really I don't expect any surprises, and looks to be a done deal. And maybe, just to add to our woes, probably from maybe in the 2010 only we should see the even day getting extended to 5 o'clock, in the whole year. But again, let's not worry too much for all these things. But for the time being, I see this happening from 4th January at 9 o'clock. Yeah.
Any thoughts on these small steel companies which have been going up, Mr. Tulsian, these last couple of days? Do you track any of them?
Yes, so then I do track them, but sometimes when I make a comparative valuation, if I feel, whenever I see the value of Spath Industries ruling at 21 or 22 with lot of interest, trading interest in that stock, then obviously I held that all these stocks, deserves a better valuation, whether you talk of the Lloyds Steel or maybe Sunflag Iron or maybe the Gallant Metal or Sal Steel, though, the mix, they have a different product profile. One or two of them, the companies are in the stainless steel, some of are into the sponge iron, or some of them are with the steel making as well as with the hot roll capacity. So I think if this Spath Industries, which did not have any track record, which did not have the consistency, which have been a heavily leveraged, if it can rule at 2021, I don't think that there is any reason for these stocks to rule at such a low level. And if you just go by the news events, in case of Lloyds Steel, we have been seeing IDBI converting part of their loans into equity, even promoters are going for warrant conversion. And if you see these type of triggers or news coming in some of the stocks or maybe couple of stocks, that in fact, gives or re-rates all these smaller kind of stocks in the same sector. Yeah.
What about Reliance Power, Mr. Tulsian? Last couple of days we've seen some activity on that one after the news from the Rosa plant. How would you approach that now?
Honestly, I won't give any credence to the news of Rosa plant, because if you see their bouquet of 7,000 megawatt, I'm referring the capacity which they've referred in their RHP. Of that, they've started the production of the part capacity. In fact, it is as per schedule, though we have been hearing that, okay, the plant is ahead of 2 months or 3 months ahead of schedule. But if you have a capacity of 7,000 and part of your capacity to the extent of 600 megawatt is getting operational, and when you have the bunching of all the power issues, like Adani Power or maybe JSW Steel is getting listed on Monday, then NHPC and IB Power, all sort of things, I don't think that there is really any excitement in the stock. I honestly won't give a price beyond 160. Maybe yes, it could be the correction, because when the Dadri disappointment came at that time, we have seen share correcting close to about 140. So this is just, maybe the stock is trying to recoup the lost ground which it has seen in last 1 week or so. And honestly, I don't see the value beyond 160 in the stock. Yeah.
Do you keep an eye on any of these toll players like Gammon Infra?
Yes, I do, but it is very difficult, because if you just see there, because either some of them they have the fixed and in some of them it is based on the toll base. So unless until you are able to take a call that how much of their road projects have become operational, because IRB and Gammon, two are the leading players, because in rest of the companies you see the mix or maybe the part component only of that portion, like GVK or maybe GMR Infra. But I think this is a good, because since they have the many of the projects going operational and some of them have been corrected. Take the case of Gammon Infra. In fact, I see a good value, coming in that stock when comparing it with IRB. Maybe again because of the promoters, having caught in 2-3 accidents or the bad workmanship of their parent company, the stock has been taken beating. But if I compare it with IRB Infra, I think the valuation looks quite attractive or stock makes a good buy at 21. Yeah.
What's going on with Great Offshore, Mr. Tulsian? I mean, up 10% one day, down 10% the next day. In the futures market, what are you spotting?
Udayan, I think this is just pure a trader's play, because if you see about 27% shares have been given in the Bharti open offer, whatever the informations which we are gathering, about 12 to 13% have come in the open offer of ABG Shipyard. So you have about 40% shares getting packed in these two open offer. There is no float in the market. We all know that 30% of the stock, whether you take 23% held by Bharti and 8% having purchased, if I don't presume that they have been tendered in the open offer, 40% or about 30-35% has been held by the promoters. So virtually there has been no float, and probably this is just a trading bump which we have seen, because we all know that we will not going to have the shares back to us on or before 6th January. On 6th January we will be getting these shares back, and even in case of Bharti the acceptance ratio could be as high as 70% plus. So maybe someone has yes, there is a news that second open offer is likely from Bharti Shipyard for additional 20% at 590, which will ultimately amounts to acceptance of the 100%. So if you want to play the arbitrage, you can buy at 550, 560. But I think you are carrying a big risk, because the fair value of the stock has to be taken at around 450 to 475 post whatever this completion of all the formality or the process of open offer. So maybe this looks to be to me as more a trading game, having played by some of the aggressive traders, that they pulled up the price at 550, 560. The small traders, they get they build the position thinking that it could go to 590, and then they liquidate, because entry and exit is very easy for them. They have all the data at their finger points. So honestly, I won't give a fair value of more than 475 to 480 post this open offer process gets completed. Yes, if there is second open offer from Bharti, you may play on the arbitrage, because in that case, acceptance ratio is going to be 100% at 590. Yeah.
Do you see any value in any of these railway companies like Kalindee or Titagarh after their recent run-up, Mr. Tulsian?
Then again, I'll be making the strict comparison, first between Texmaco and Titagarh Wagon, because both are the railway wagon makers, and if you see their capacity, it is virtually the same. In fact, I will be going more favorable or more optimistic with Titagarh Wagon, because the kind of growth they have been showing, and even the acquisitions which they are making in the same field. The Texmaco is likely to have an EPS of 8 for FY10. That means the share is ruling at a P multiple of 21 or maybe 22. While Titagarh Wagon with an expected EPS of 30 for FY10 still ruling at 16. So there is a P differential of at least about 500 bips or maybe 600 bips. And I do not think that there is any concern on the capability of the Titagarh Wagon as well. So there are, we have been seeing that there is huge shortage of the wagon. The orders flow may come in. I don't think that the railway budget targets must have been met by the railways even as of now. We may see the order inflow in next couple of months before railway budget, and then definitely the higher allocation, which was 20,000 wagon in last railway budget, this year could go to 25,000. So if this kind of order growth or the growth visibility you have, I think both stocks looks good. For Kalindee Rail, I don't think, because purely you cannot really treat this company now purely as a railway signaling equipment provider, because they have gone into the contracting work also, and more major portion of their top line constitutes the contracting work portion also. Yes, there has been talk that L&T could acquire the company. They have been sitting on a stake of 14.9%. So honestly, I am not convinced on the Kalindee Rail beyond a point, which could be 220. I think its share is now ruling at around 235, but I won't give a value of more than 220, taking all the factors into consideration. But yes, for Texmaco and Titagarh Wagon, they still have the value. You can give a P multiple of up to 24 also for both the stocks.
Thanks, Mr. Tulsian, for talking to us about all those companies.